Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Paul Waller here, President and founder of Christian Sports Medicine Alliance. You have joined us again for Medicine with a Mission podcast, Faith, Family, and the Profession. This is episode 13. This interview will actually drop on March 8th of this year for National Athletic Training Month. And it seems like all the interviews that I've been doing, we are interviewing people that I personally have known for years, and we have never seen each other and put a face and a voice together until now. And this one is the same way. Sarah Balch is a friend of mine. We have known each other, Sarah, for at least 10 years, if not longer. And we realized that the network and the community of one being fellow believers, but also athletic trainers and colleagues, has been a very unique relationship that her and I have built over the many years of knowing each other and everything. So, Sarah, welcome to our podcast, Zoomcast. I don't know what we call these things, but whatever we're doing. And thank you for doing this. Thank you for allowing me to highlight you for Medicine with a Mission, Faith, Family, and the Profession. Like I said, yours will drop on March 8th, next Monday. And so get started. Just tell us where you are, how long, what you're doing, your setting, and everything, your background, your personal life, and share as much as you want to.
Absolutely. Well, I am currently the athletic trainer and strength and conditioning coach and FCA huddle leader at Hereford High School in Hereford, Texas. I've been here for 8 years now. Prior to that, I was at Liberty Hill High School for 5 years and Lubbock High before that. For 1 year, my first year out of college. I went to Abilene Christian University from 2003 to 2007. Really got a great education there, made some incredible friends that I still talk to pretty much every day. And got a really cool experience getting to work, not only like football, but soccer, softball, and track and field and cross country, which really was one of the highlights of being there. I mean, I got to work with some amazing young men and women from all over the world. Grew up in both Hereford and Odessa, Texas, graduated from Permian High School, and had the opportunity to move back to Hereford in 2013 when their athletic trainer retired and take over and be in a place where my family still is, which for me was a big draw to come back home.
So for people that are not familiar with Texas and how large we are.
Right.
I live in Frisco, which is just north of Dallas, and she lives in Hereford. So tell me where, in relation to Hereford and Frisco, because you know where Dallas-Fort Worth is, right. How far is that from you?
6.5 hours probably. So Hereford is in the Panhandle. We're an hour and a half north of Lubbock and 45 minutes southwest of Amarillo.
Yeah, so you're way out there.
Way out there, yes.
Out there. Yeah, and Hereford has a really cool mascot.
Yeah, we're the White Faces.
White Faces, yeah.
Hereford, when we're talking about cattle, so that's what a white face actually is. Talking about cattle, a Hereford is an all reddish brown cow with a white face.
Yeah,
we're known as a hostile herd.
Yeah, and you just y'all made a really good run just in men's basketball.
Yeah, actually men's and women's basketball, we both went 3 rounds deep this year, which was so much fun. And men, we lost Saturday night to Seminole in the regional quarterfinals, but played a great team and played a great game.
So tell me a little bit about your faith journey and how Christ and how, because you're the FCA huddle leader. I know your walk is really strong. How does your faith integrate into your workplace?
Well, so, I've had a walk with Christ since I was, probably 5 years old. I was baptized when I was 5, been raised by parents who absolutely love the Lord, and made it a focal point in our home. And when I was 13 years old in junior high, I became part of my first FCA huddle. So FCA kind of grabbed a hold of my heart then, and I was involved junior high, high school, college. And so that became something that I wanted to do when I had the opportunity to get here. And we had a small FCA huddle meeting last night after our baseball game. And so that was a fun little thing because we only had a few kids, but they were so involved and it was fun to see their light and their excitement. But for me on a daily basis, I feel like, ministry doesn't have to be in the church setting all the time or in the mission field. And so I realized that athletic training and what happens in my athletic training room and in my classroom, that is my ministry. And, forming relationships with kids and coaches and having the honor of being able to pray for those kids when they come in and when they leave each day, pray with them on the field during a bad situation. We had a kid break his femur 2 years ago. And I've always prayed in my head when I've had something bad happen. And I just looked at his parents and said, can I pray over him? And so prayed over this young man and his mom and his dad and the EMT crew and our team doctor that was arriving and joining us at that point. And, I think it made a big impact, but it's my honor to be able to serve these kids. And I feel like that's what I'm doing is serving them and helping them see that maybe through my walk that God does really shine his love through my life.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone recently about that, is that I think that, as athletic trainers, and especially Christian athletic trainers, that sometimes we are able to, because of our Christian walk, because of our faith, we're able to develop relationships in a different way.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, yeah, it's just a neat thing to see how our faith in Christ and our profession can be integrated together. So what, Hereford's it's not a large city.
No.
And it's in retrospect, say to Dallas, Fort Worth, it's not very large at all.
Right.
So do you, has there been any challenges over this last, seems like 18 months, 2 years, going through all this? I've lost track. You have seen your faith being either challenged, strengthened, that you've been able to implement your faith even more in what you're doing?
Yeah, our little town has been hit relatively hard. We have about 15,000 people, and we've had close to 3,000 confirmed COVID cases, and we've lost people in our community that were involved in our program, involved in our kids' lives, involved in my coaches' lives, and so walking with my students, walking with my coaches as they went through that. Being at home, I think that was a really hard thing for me, and it did challenge my faith a little bit when we were at home during the shelter in place, because it felt very isolating and very alone for me. And I realized if I'm feeling this way, I know my kids are feeling this way. And it challenged me to reach out to them a little bit, try to make contact as much as I was allowed to. We weren't allowed to meet up, but we would FaceTime, we would Zoom where we were allowed to. My student trainers, we had a daily group chat where we were checking in. Hey, how are you? What are you doing? How's it going on? What do you need? And so that kind of helped. We had a student trainer lose her mom back in December, not long before Christmas, who also was a member of our high school staff. So kind of stepping into the role of what does she need me to be? How does she need me to be here for her today? Some days she needs somebody to sit down and color with her. She wants something light and fun. And as she was going through the process of her loss and things being so bad, we realized, the one place she kept popping in every day was the training room. So it was her safe place. It was her comfort. And I wanted to make sure that we could keep it that way as long as she needs it.
Yeah. Awesome. What, are you the only athletic trainer at Hereford?
I am.
You're the only one?
The only one.
Okay. So so if you had to sit down with young professionals that are just coming out of school, mainly females, let's say this females.
Sure.
And you being the only athletic trainer and being a female athletic trainer at your school, what would you say to them? What kind of encouragement would you give them, or words of advice would you give them as they venture out in the professional ranks?
I think one of the most important things that I've learned as an athletic trainer is form a relationship with your kids, form a relationship with your coaches. And I'm not talking about anything that goes into friendship with the kids at all, but when they know you and they know you care about who they are, and more than just wins and losses, and they know that you care about what their day was like, or what they had for lunch, or if they had lunch, or what they're going to do this weekend, and talking to your coaches about their families and what they enjoy. That goes a long way in building the trust that you need to be able to take care of the athlete or the team effectively. And so I think one of the biggest things is, especially as a young professional or a young female, come in, be honest, be sure of yourself, and don't let yourself be swayed by what other opinions might be.
Good advice. Yeah, I agree totally. That's what I mean, even when I was working in my last high school, that's my biggest thing is relationships, relationships, relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Developing those relationships with your kids, because you may be the only true adult in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to probably tell you things that they would never tell their parents and never tell their coaches. And you're not going to get that without developing that relationship and that trust. So one last thing before we wrap up, what is that verse or verses that you would classify as the foundation of your life, and why?
So the one that I go to most often is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, to not harm you, plans for your future. And so for me, I've gone through some things in my life. I lost my dad at a young age. I was 20 years old in college. Still trying to figure out my plan. After watching him go through an illness that lasted from the time I was 13 till 20. It wasn't cancer, but it was a chronic illness, and it was hard to watch. And I've seen my mom completely overcome and be an incredible example of a Christian woman, and see different things happen within my family. And so I know that no matter what happens, God has a deep, deep plan for me. And one of the things we heard last night that I was talking to my FCA kids about, and I'd never heard it this way before, we were watching a video from the Super Bowl in years past, and it was members of the Seattle Seahawks talking. And one of the coaches said one of the players that had become not just season-ending but career-ending injured said, "It's okay, I'm excited to see what God has for my life, because no matter what happens, it's already filtered through God's hands."
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd never thought of it that way. I mean, I know that anything is in God's control, but so to know that he has plans for my future, and it's up to me to just continue trying to follow his plan, that's a big comfort in my life. So that's probably my biggest go-to verse. I like quite a few out of Philippians, talking about, don't worry, don't have fear, that one, and then Joshua 1:9, be strong and courageous.
Awesome. Well, Sarah, I appreciate it very much. You joining us for this. It's been like I said, we've known each other for years.
Sure.
And I've never really heard your story. And I thank you very much for sharing with us. And make sure, just please share our YouTube channel with as many people as you possibly can, because there's a lot of great videos on there and testimonies of athlete trainers across the country. So, Sarah, thank you very much. If you are interested in knowing more about Christian Sports Medicine Alliance, you can visit us at christiansportsmed.org. You can also follow us on Twitter at tweetcsma. You can, if you're an athletic trainer and if you're a Christian athletic trainer and you want to get involved with a group of fellow Christian athletic trainers that you just want to do life with, share your faith, prayer requests, verses, whatever. On Facebook, go to Beyond the ATR and join us there. And if you want to support us in any way possible to help us further our mission, which is to make God known in and through our profession by educating, equipping, and serving, you can go to our website and support us in any way possible. We appreciate that very much. So again, Sarah, thank you very much. We will talk to you soon. Hopefully one of these days we'll see each other in person.
For sure. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.